The day before the college entrance exam, the green tea girl offered to keep everyone's admission tickets for them. I didn't want to, but my childhood friend said I wasn't being sociable. He snatched my admission ticket and handed it to the green tea girl. 10 minutes before the college entrance exam began, the green tea girl was crying as she apologized to me. "Cece, I'm sorry, your admission ticket is lost." Before I could even react, my childhood friend shoved me aside, looking at me with clear displeasure. "This can't be blamed on Yen Yen, so many people didn't lose theirs, but yours just happened to be lost. We can only say you're unlucky." The students all nodded in agreement. Let me accept reality. But when Green Tea opened the envelope containing the admission ticket, everyone's faces instantly turned pale. I was seeing it for the first time too. This is what they call instant karma. 1. Today was the first day of the college entrance exam. Outside the cordon at the exam site entrance, the crowd was buzzing with noise. Every examinee had a hint of nervousness on their face. I was also looking down and checking the stationery. Suddenly, a sharp cry tore through the sky. "Xiao Shi, I'm sorry, I'm truly sorry." Hearing that the person being called was me, I frowned and looked up. At that moment, Lin Yen was standing in front of me, holding the black document envelope containing the admission ticket. Her eyes were red, and tears were falling in a patter. "Student Xiao Shi, your admission ticket may have been lost by me." Upon hearing the news that the admission ticket was lost, the classmates around her instantly erupted into an uproar and crowded over. "Yen Yen, whose admission ticket was lost? Was it Xiao Shi's? How could it have been lost? Did you check wrong? Yen Yen, do you have mine? This is the college entrance examination. We can't joke about this." The classmates' expressions instantly turned ugly. They all hurriedly asked whether their own admission tickets were still there. Lin Yen wiped away her tears and held up the document envelope high in her hand. "Don't worry, everyone, your admission tickets are all in the bag. I just checked again, and only Xiao Shi's is missing." Everyone's gaze instantly turned to me. Before I could even speak, suddenly, a hand shoved me aside. "Xiao Shi, what are you making a fuss about now?" He pushed me away. It was my childhood friend, Jiang Yichen. His words couldn't help but leave me stunned. My admission ticket was lost by someone, and I didn't say a single word. He started pinning blame on me. Lin Yen walked up to Jiang Yichen, crying like a pear blossom in the rain. "Brother Yichen, I accidentally lost Xiao Shi's admission ticket." After hearing these words, Jiang Yichen's brows knitted tightly. Then he affectionately patted Lin Yen on the head and comforted her in a gentle voice. "Yen Yen, you can't be blamed for this. Don't cry yet." I stood by the side, my tone low. "Don't blame her. Are you saying I should blame myself?" Jiang Yichen immediately shielded Lin Yen behind him. He frowned as he looked at me. "Xiao Shi, Yen Yen didn't mean to lose your admission ticket. Do you really have to be so aggressive?" I darkened my face and immediately fired back. "Not on purpose. All those other people's admission tickets are still here, and mine just happened to be lost." "Jiang Yichen, you make it sound so easy. Since you're so capable, why don't you hand over your own admission ticket and let her lose that instead?" "You." Jiang Yichen was left speechless by my retort. Then his eyes flickered, and he curled the corners of his mouth as he looked at me. "You're right, Xiao Shi, everyone else's admission tickets are perfectly fine, so why is it only yours that got lost? All I can say is that you're just unlucky. It's fate. Why do you blame everything on Yen Yen?" He looked at me and said meaningfully, "Maybe you never gave Yen Yen the admission ticket at all. You just wanted to deliberately frame Yen Yen." I stared at Jiang Yichen and asked each word slowly. "Jiang Yichen, are you sure I didn't give her the admission ticket?" 2. In order to avoid traffic congestion during the college entrance examination, our class booked a hotel next to the college entrance exam venue. Yesterday afternoon, the students gathered in the hotel banquet hall to review the exam site together. Lin Yen suddenly stood up. She was holding a brand new file folder in her hand and walked to the middle of the hall. "Classmates, I want to say something." Her voice was clear and crisp, and everyone lifted their heads to look at her. "Tomorrow is the college entrance examination, and the admission ticket is the most important thing. I'm afraid someone might accidentally lose it before the exam, or forget to bring it in the morning because of being in a hurry. So, let me help everyone keep them together for safekeeping." How important is the admission ticket for the college entrance examination? Everyone knew it very well. No one responded to her. Lin Yen stood awkwardly in the middle, her face growing paler and paler. "I agree." Jiang Yichen was the first to stand up. He looked at everyone and said with a smile, "I think Yen Yen's suggestion is great. She cares so much about her classmates, so everyone wouldn't be so ungrateful, right?" Jiang Yichen was a campus celebrity, so naturally his words carried weight. Many students all stood up one after another. "I agree too." I'm really afraid of losing it, and it's just right that someone can help me keep it safe. Yeah, Yen is so careful, we can rest assured leaving it to her. Everyone took out their exam admission tickets one after another and handed them to Lin Yen. Lin Yen accepted them one by one and carefully put them into the document pouch. She looked at Jiang Yichen and gave an embarrassed smile. Don't worry, everyone. I'll keep them safe and hand them out to all of you together outside the exam venue tomorrow. When Lin Yen walked up to me, I refused. Thank you, Lin Yen, but I can take care of my own things. After hearing what I said, the smile on Lin Yan's face vanished instantly, her eyes reddened, and her voice trembled. Xiaoxi, do you look down on me? Do you think my family is poor, so I can't even handle something as small as keeping an exam admission ticket? I was stunned. What did this have to do with being poor or not? Seeing that she was about to cry, I still explained patiently, I didn't mean that, I'm just used to taking care of my own things myself. Lin Yen seemed unable to understand human speech, and her tears came on cue. Everyone is willing to believe me, so why don't you believe me? I know, you've always looked down on me because I'm a poor student, and think I'm not worthy of helping you. The more she said, the more wronged she felt. The way they looked at me grew increasingly resentful. Xiaoxi, you've gone too far. Someone immediately criticized me. Yen was just kindly trying to help. How could you say that to her, exactly? Isn't it just asking her to keep the exam admission tickets? What are you acting all high and mighty for? So we all trust Yen, but you're the special one. Jiang Yichen walked straight up to me and slammed his book down hard in front of me. Xiaoxi, have you had enough? Yen kindly helped everyone keep their exam admission tickets, and if you don't appreciate it, fine, but you even made her cry. She wanted to cry herself. I just didn't want her to keep my admission ticket, that's all. Didn't want her to keep it. Jiang Yichen let out a cold laugh. I wanted to say something else, but Jiang Yichen had already reached out directly. He snatched the exam admission ticket I had placed on the table. What's so special about you? Yen has had such a hard time and just wants to do something for everyone. Can't you be a little understanding? Ungrateful. He shoved my exam admission ticket into Lin Yan's hands. Yen, don't stoop to her level. Lin Yen took the exam admission ticket and quickly stuffed it into her bag. A series of actions executed smoothly. She looked up at me, a strange meaning in her eyes. Xiaoxi, don't worry, I'll take good care of your exam admission ticket. 3. Jiang Yichen, my exam admission ticket was snatched from my hands by you and handed to Lin Yen by your own hand. You're saying I never gave it to her. Don't you think that's ridiculous? Faced with my questioning, Jiang Yichen didn't dare look me in the eye. Lin Yen looked at me with a defiant expression. Xiaoxi, I was the one who lost your admission ticket. If you have any problem, come at me, and don't make things difficult for Brother Yichen. I looked at Lin Yen, utterly speechless. Is losing someone else's exam admission ticket something to be proud of? So you're coming at me? Fine, I'm asking you, when everyone gathered at the hotel entrance this morning, why didn't you hand out the admission tickets to everyone? Lin Yan's voice trembled with tears. I was afraid there would be too many people and things could get mixed up on the way, so I wanted to wait until we got to the test center to hand them out. That would be safer. Careful. I stepped forward. Lin Yen, today when I left the hotel and asked you for my admission ticket, you didn't give it to me, saying it would be handed out on the bus. When I got on the bus and asked you for it, you said we were almost there and that it would be distributed together, but you still didn't give it to me. Half an hour before entering the exam site, I asked you for it again, and you told me to wait a little longer because you were worried someone might mix them up. Now, less than 10 minutes before entry, you're telling me my admission ticket is lost. Do you think I'm really that stupid? Everyone else's is fine, but mine gets lost, right? A barrage of accusations made Lin Yan's face turn pale. She clenched the hem of her clothes tightly, her voice trembling. I just wanted to distribute them uniformly. How was I supposed to know your exam admission ticket would go missing? Xiaoxi, please don't force me. I stared at her intently. After acting for 3 years, aren't you tired? In first year of high school, I participated in the sports meet. You kindly said you'd help me carry my shoes, but then you accidentally spilled a bottle of mineral water on my sneakers. I ended up running 800 meters in soaking wet shoes. In second year of high school, I applied for a scholarship. You were helping the teacher collect the application forms. I clearly handed mine to you very early, but you still waited until the last minute to say you hadn't received my application form. In third year of high school, the school handed out review materials. Every other student got theirs. You said you had put mine on my desk, but I never saw it. The meal card that went missing, the homework you forgot to collect, the graduation photo retaken countless times, and now you've even lost my admission ticket. Lin Yan, I really want to know exactly who is forcing whom. Every time I said something, Lin Yan's face grew paler. The classmates around us also fell silent, looking at Lin Yan with curious eyes. Who would have thought that? Lin Yan burst into tears. Xiao Shi, it's all my fault. I apologize to you. I'll kneel to you. I'll kowtow to you. As long as you can forgive me, I'll do anything. Here came that same old tactic again. I shot her an eye roll. Sure, then kneel and kowtow to me to apologize. You can leave only when I'm satisfied. Lin Yan froze. She didn't expect me to say something like that. Jiang Yichen pulled Lin Yan behind him, his face dark with anger. Xiao Shi, Yan Yan has already apologized to you. What more do you want? Is there any point bringing up the past now? Then can I also say that yesterday you clearly didn't want to give your admission ticket to Yan Yan to keep for you. Who knows whether you secretly went back later and took it back. At Jiang Yichen's words, a glint flashed in Lin Yan's eyes. Xiao Shi, you took my admission ticket, didn't you? Please, give it back, don't hurt me. I was almost laughing from sheer anger. They were certainly top-notch at twisting right and wrong, yet Lin Yan's frail, boneless, and utterly wronged-looking demeanor led everyone astray again. Yeah, yesterday Xiao Shi didn't even want to take it out. Maybe she took the admission ticket back herself later. If that's the case, Xiao Shi is way too disgusting. Framing Zhao Yan like that, to put it bluntly, isn't she just jealous that Jiang Yichen likes Lin Yan? All the murmurs turned toward me again. Lin Yan looked at me with a hint of smugness in her eyes. Suddenly, a classmate shouted, "Homeroom teacher, they're here." For Teacher Li frowned and walked out from the crowd. She spoke in a stern, scolding tone, "We're about to enter the exam hall. What are you arguing about here?" I stepped forward and said, "Teacher Li, Lin Yan lost my admission ticket, and I can't get into the exam hall." After hearing what I said, Teacher Li's brow furrowed even more tightly. "Teacher Li," Lin Yan choked out, "I really didn't do it on purpose. Xiao Shi wanted me to kneel and apologize, and that was bad enough, but she also wouldn't let me take the exam. Teacher Li, I promised you that this time I would definitely get a good score and bring honor to the class. I'm afraid I may not be able to do that anymore." Teacher Li's expression darkened at once, then he turned to look at me, his tone stern. "Xiao Shi, how can you be making a scene here over something as important as the college entrance examination?" Me making a scene? I could hardly believe my ears. "Teacher Li, she lost my admission ticket. I just want an explanation." "Give an explanation." Teacher Li let out a cold laugh. "You handed your admission ticket to someone else to keep. Now that it's lost, who are you going to blame? If you want to blame anyone, blame yourself for being careless. Yan Yan was kind enough to help everyone keep their things. If you don't want to thank her, fine, but to make things so difficult for her, you've really disappointed me." Looking at Teacher Li's obviously biased attitude, my heart turned utterly cold. Lin Yan had used Jiang Yichen to secretly buy answer sheets and had long been the top student in the class. For this exam, Teacher Li had always attached great importance to Lin Yan. After all, my admission ticket was already lost for good, and he couldn't possibly sacrifice another student, but I still wanted to explain myself. "Teacher Li, I didn't give it to her willingly. It was Jiang Yichen who snatched it and shoved it to her." Teacher Li didn't listen to my explanation at all. "Regardless of who handed it in, since you agreed to let her keep it, you have to bear the risk. The top priority is the college entrance exam. Making a scene here will not only affect you, but also the other students. What you need to do now is accept reality." The classmates around me also chimed in agreement. "Yes. Zhao Shi, stop making a fuss. If you can't take the exam, don't drag us down. We're all very grateful that Yan Yan helped keep our admission tickets for us. Even if they got lost, we wouldn't blame her." "Exactly. Who knows whether you just don't want to take the exam yourself and are deliberately making trouble. Maybe you hid the documents yourself and want to pin the blame on Yan Yan." Shameless words, one after another, drilled into my ears. I looked at the people in front of me and suddenly laughed. I laughed very loudly, drawing everyone's attention to me. Teacher Li frowned. "Xiao Shi, what are you laughing at?" I stopped laughing, my gaze sweeping over everyone present. Finally, I let my eyes settle on Teacher Li and Lin Yan, and asked word by word, "So what you're saying is that, no matter whose exam admission slip gets lost today, they can only chalk it up to bad luck, can't hold the person keeping it responsible, and still have to thank her for her kindness?" Teacher Li said in a deep voice. "Yes, Yan Yan is helping everyone keep them for free. That's already not easy. If it got lost, it was an accident. What right do you have to criticize her? The other students also nodded. Yeah, we won't blame Yen. If you want to blame someone, blame yourself for being unlucky. Looking at their faces, each one of them wearing an expression of utter self-righteousness, the last bit of warmth left in my heart also vanished. Seeing that I said nothing, Lin Yen thought I had given in. She smiled and handed the file bag to Teacher Li. Teacher, I've kept all of the students' admission tickets safe and sound. There are less than 5 minutes left before entry, so please hand them out to everyone. Teacher Li looked at Lin Yen with an approving gaze, then she took the file bag from her hand, but when she opened the file bag, she froze. Teacher Li's tone was low, and the air around them seemed to freeze instantly. Lin Yen, why are there English vocabulary cards in this bag? 5. English vocabulary cards. Lin Yen looked somewhat stunned. She stepped forward and quickly took the file bag. She violently rummaged through the file bag. Immediately, a stack of English vocabulary flashcards spilled out with a rustling sound. The entire venue instantly fell into a deathly silence. Suddenly, a classmate laughed and said, Yen, did you take the wrong one? Did you put it in another bag? Stop teasing everyone. We're about to go in. Under everyone's watchful eyes, Lin Yen went through all her bags. She was just short of taking off all her clothes. In the end, they still didn't find it. At this moment, Lin Yen seemed to have had all her strength drained away. Her body swayed, the tear tracks on her face had not yet dried, but she could no longer squeeze out a single tear. Only utter panic and helplessness remained. Where is my admission ticket? Finally, someone reacted. All the students asked anxiously. Didn't they say it was checked before departure? How come it's missing? Yeah, how did a perfectly good admission ticket turn into a flashcard? Some people even burst into tears and panic. It's over, there are only a few minutes left until we go in. It's all over, my life is ruined. The crowd that had just been surrounding me and accusing me instantly broke into chaos. Everyone's face was filled with anxiety and anger. All eyes turned to Lin Yen. There was no longer any sympathy or support. Teacher Li's face turned livid as she tightly gripped the empty file folder. She sternly questioned Lin Yen. Lin Yen, what exactly is going on here? Where are the students' admission tickets? Explain this to me clearly. Lin Yan's lips trembled. I think I took the wrong document bag. The bag with my admission ticket in it seems to be at the hotel. As soon as she said that, everyone broke down. Lin Yen, are you stupid? It'd be one thing if you lost Zhao Shi's exam admission ticket, but you even lost the whole class's. Yeah, you have a grudge with Zhao Shi. So what does that have to do with us? You're going to harm us like this? Even now, Chen was still defending Lin Yen. Everyone, calm down for a moment. This isn't Yen's fault. I'll have my family's driver go to the hotel right away to pick up the admission tickets. Now that it's come to this, the knife is cutting into our own flesh. Who would still defend this crazy man and crazy woman? Chen, give it a rest. If you hadn't threatened us, would we have given Lin Yan's admission ticket to her? Exactly. Apart from crying all day long, what else can Lin Yen do? I'm telling you, Lin Yen, if I can't take this exam, my parents won't let you off. Watching this scene, I let out a sneer. What a karmic retribution, what a classic scene. How can everyone treat Lin Yen like this? Didn't you all just say you should thank Lin Yen for her kindness? It seems you really should thank her properly now. Otherwise, how would you know that a vocabulary card can also be used as an admission ticket? The boomerang struck me in the end. Everyone fell silent. I turned to look at Teacher Li. Teacher Li, don't blame Lin Yen anymore. After all, everyone gave her their admission tickets voluntarily. Since the tickets were lost, everyone should be able to bear the risk, right? After I threw that back at her, Teacher Li's face flushed red, then turned pale. I couldn't find a single word to refute it. Jiang Yichen frowned and scolded me. Zhao Shi, don't gloat either. Your own admission ticket is missing too. Someone muttered unhappily. Yeah, everyone's lost theirs. Is there really any need to kick someone when they're down at a time like this? I really think it's ridiculous. They can gloat over me and kick me when I'm down. Now that it's my turn, it's not allowed. What blatant double standards. Under everyone's gaze, I slowly raised my hand and reached into the side pocket of the canvas bag I was carrying. I pulled out a brand new entrance examination admission ticket with anti-counterfeiting markings. I picked up the admission ticket and waved it in front of everyone. Who told you that my admission ticket was lost? 6. On the admission ticket, my photo, name, exam number, and test room information were all clearly visible. So real it was beyond dispute. How is this possible? Jiang Yichen stared wide-eyed, looking in disbelief at the admission ticket in my hand. I clearly gave your admission ticket to Yen. How could it be on you? Lin Yen was even more shocked, as if struck by lightning. She stared fixedly at the exam admission ticket in my hand, her voice trembling. No, impossible, I clearly put your admission ticket. I looked at her with a faint, ambiguous smile. You clearly lost my admission ticket, didn't you? After hearing my words, Lin Yan's face instantly turned ashen. When Jiang Yichen ignored my objections and snatched the admission ticket from my desk, I looked furious and resistant on the surface, but inside I felt nothing at all, because the one he snatched away was only the fake certificate I had prepared long ago. Ever since the sports meet in my first year of high school, when Lin Yan had secretly tripped me up, I knew it. This seemingly delicate girl was not as innocent as she looked. She seemed to have some inexplicable hostility toward me. And then there were one accident after another: the missing scholarship application form, the lost study materials, the homework notebook splashed wet. I had no choice but to stay on guard. Such an important thing as the college entrance exam. How could I possibly hand my real admission ticket to someone who has always been targeting me? Just as I expected, Lin Yan really started causing trouble before the college entrance exam. The admission ticket you gave Lin Yan was fake. A classmate came to their senses and looked at me in shock. I nodded. That's right. I walked up to Lin Yan, raising my voice a little. Lin Yan, you said you checked the admission ticket this morning and there was no problem, so how could there be vocabulary cards in that bag? Lin Yan was still making excuses. After I finished checking, I grabbed the wrong one. I followed her lead and nodded. I'll take it that you grabbed the wrong one, but if you never opened the document envelope on the way here, how did you know so precisely that it was my admission ticket that had fallen out? Or are you saying you had already planned to make my admission ticket disappear? My words left everyone present stunned. Yeah, she never even opened the bag, so how did she know the lost item was Zhao Shi's, unless she already knew there was no Zhao Shi's exam admission ticket inside? Could it be she did it on purpose? The discussion rose and fell in waves. Lin Yan's face instantly turned red. She bit her lower lip hard, and tears began falling again. I guessed it, I sneered. How can you dare to conclude that the one lost is Zhao Shi's, based on a guess, with something as important as a college entrance exam admission ticket? Lin Yan, do you think everyone is an idiot? I pressed forward step by step, each word cutting to the bone. You weren't guessing at all, you planned this long ago. From the moment you took the initiative to offer to keep the admission tickets yesterday, it was all for today's stunt. You knew Jiang Yichen would help you, knew the classmates would hand the admission tickets over to you because of his face. And you also knew I wouldn't be willing, so when Jiang Yichen snatched my admission ticket away, you must have been over the moon, right? You had already decided to make my admission ticket disappear so I couldn't take the Gaokao and my life would be ruined. So after you got that fake certificate of mine, you never intended to give it back to me, did you? Lin Yan trembled all over and could no longer hold herself up. She collapsed to the ground. No, I didn't. You didn't. I straightened up and smiled as if I had suddenly seen the light. You originally thought you'd just lose my admission ticket and keep everyone else's real one safe. That way, everyone would only blame me for bad luck, say I was making a big fuss over nothing, while you'd still be the kind-hearted, pitiful person who just made a careless mistake. But you never imagined that the one I gave you was fake. You went to such lengths to ruin me, only to end up losing the whole class's real admission tickets. Is this the accident you've been longing for? No, this is karma. 7. The 3 words, karma, struck everyone's heart like a heavy hammer. In the shock that followed, all that remained was panic. We go in 3 minutes, a classmate suddenly screamed, his voice full of despair. Our admission tickets are still at the hotel. There's no way we can make it back in time to get them. This sentence instantly ignited everyone's panic. Everyone crowded around Lin Yan, roaring angrily. This is all your fault. If you hadn't insisted on keeping them, how could our admission tickets have been lost? Tell us now, where did you put our admission tickets? If this delays the college entrance exam, I won't let you off. Lin Yan shrank into a huddled ball from fright, able only to keep repeating through her tears, I took the wrong bag. It's really at the hotel. I didn't mean to. Jiang Yichen tried to keep things under control. Everyone, stop arguing. I've already sent the driver to the hotel. It should still be in time. The trip to the hotel and back takes 20 minutes. Sure, there's still enough time to get in, but we'll be short 20 minutes of problem-solving time than everyone else. Who's going to take responsibility for that? Someone roared in anger. Jiang Yichen, if you hadn't forced us to hand over our admission tickets to her back then, would this have happened? You're no good either. Jiang Yichen's face turned red and then pale, unable to find any words to refute it. I glanced at the time and didn't want to bother with this group any longer. I turned around and headed straight for the exam entrance. Wait, Zhao Shi, you can't leave. Jiang Yichen suddenly blocked me, his eyes fierce. Everyone else's admission tickets are gone, why should you be the only one who gets to take the exam? I raised an eyebrow at him. I have my admission ticket, why can't I go? You, Jiang Yichen was left speechless, then he said domineeringly, you're also responsible for this. You must stay here and wait until everyone's admission tickets are found before going in together. Lin Xin seemed to have grasped something and suddenly stood up. Right, you can't go in by yourself. If you hadn't kept asking me for my admission ticket this morning, I wouldn't have panicked and picked up the wrong file bag. Several classmates immediately chimed in. Now that you put it that way, Lin Yan is also to blame. Why should all of us be delayed while she gets to take the exam smoothly? That's so unfair, right? She has to wait until we all get our admission tickets before going in together. Zhao Shi, hand over your admission ticket, either we all wait together, or none of us gets to take the exam. I looked at the ugly faces of these people and only found them ridiculous. They had willingly handed their admission tickets over to Lin Yan in the first place. Instead of thinking about how to solve the problem, they wanted to drag me down with them. I sneered coldly. Back then, when Lin Yan wanted to keep the admission tickets, I clearly refused. It was you who forced me to hand them over. Just now Lin Yan said I had lost my admission ticket, and you all accused me without distinguishing right from wrong. Now that the truth is out, it was your own choice that led to the loss of the admission ticket. Why should I pay for your stupidity? I have a real admission ticket, I was prepared in advance, and I protected my own interests. Why should I be held responsible for your mistakes? My gaze was as sharp as a knife as I swept over everyone present. The college entrance examination is a major turning point in life. You don't even know how to cherish your own fate, yet you're thinking about dragging others down with you. Are you worthy? And you too, Jiang Yichen. I deliberately looked at him. Back then, you took away my fake certificate and protected Lin Yan, saying I had bad luck and that I was deliberately framing her. Now the truth is right before your eyes. Don't you feel ashamed? You were stopping me from taking the exam just because you wanted someone to suffer with you, to cover up your incompetence and mistakes. Jiang Yichen's face turned red with embarrassment after hearing my words. He reached out angrily and humiliatedly to grab me. Zhao Shi, don't go too far, you're the ones going too far. I sidestepped his hand, then I shouted to the teacher maintaining order at the entrance to the exam hall. Teacher, I have my admission ticket and request to be admitted. The patrol teacher had long noticed the commotion over here. Seeing this now, he immediately walked over. After verifying the information on my admission ticket and ID card, he nodded. Student, go in quickly, the exam hall is about to close. No, she can't go in. Jiang Yichen still wanted to stop them, but the teacher blocked him. Student, please abide by the examination room rules and do not interfere with other candidates entering the venue. The patrolling teacher's tone was stern. Candidates without an admission ticket are not allowed to enter the examination room. This is the rule. Jiang Yichen wanted to say something more, but the angry students around him pulled him back. They were more concerned now with whether their admission tickets could be delivered in time, and had no time to stop me anymore. I took one last look at the chaotic crowd. Lin Yan was still crying and wailing on the ground, while Jiang Yichen was surrounded by everyone, being questioned. Teacher Li was so anxious that she was pacing in circles. Those classmates who had just been criticizing me were now full of anxiety and regret. I have to say, instant karma, so satisfying. 8. The final bell of the college entrance exam rang. I closed the pen with satisfaction. After that day, so as not to affect my college entrance exam, I changed to another hotel and never went back. I also didn't make a point of finding out how they handled it. I just didn't expect that. The moment I stepped out of the school gate, I would be surrounded by a group of people. At the front were Lin Yan and Jiang Yichen. Behind them were dozens of students and parents. One by one, they wore fierce expressions, as if they wanted to skin me alive. After Lin Yan saw me, her eyes immediately reddened. Zhang Shi, if you hate me and don't like me, I accept it, but why did you switch my document bag? Why did you make everyone miss the college entrance exam? Why were you so vicious? Her words left me stunned. A group of parents surged up one after another. You must be Zhang Shi, right? How can you be so vicious? My son was delayed by 20 minutes because of the admission ticket issue, and he didn't even finish his essay, and my daughter, because of this, completely lost her composure and underperformed. You have to give us an explanation, right? We're here today to demand an explanation. Call your parents over. If compensation is due, pay up, and if someone needs to be taken in, take them in an instant. I understood what was going on. Lin Yan dumped all the blame on me for forgetting to bring her admission ticket. I looked at everyone coldly, a mocking smile curling on my lips. You say I swapped Lin Yan's document bag and deliberately made everyone late for the college entrance exam, so where's the evidence? Everyone's eyes turned to Lin Yan. Lin Yan seemed to have anticipated that I would ask this, and had already prepared an explanation. That morning, only you came to my room. I clearly put my admission ticket in my bag, but you swapped the ticket in my bag. You deliberately made everyone late and tried to frame me. I couldn't help but let out a cold laugh. I had indeed gone to look for Lin Yan that morning. However, I had never entered her room at all. She only asked for my exam admission ticket at the door, but she didn't give it to me. But now the parents just want someone to take the blame. They don't care about the truth of the matter at all. You child, how can you be so malicious? We can't be bothered to argue with you. Get your parents here. We won't let this go. I looked around, and not a single person didn't hate me. I smiled, my voice clear and firm. You want an explanation? Fine, I've already called the police. Lin Yan's crying stopped abruptly, a flicker of panic crossing her face. Xiaoxi, why did you call the police? It's just something between classmates. Do you really have to go that far? Call the police. We have to call the police. The one speaking was Jiang Yichen. At this moment, the look he gave me was full of resentment. Xiaoxi, I never thought you hated me this much. It would have been bad enough if you had swapped everyone's admission tickets, but you also stole mine, causing me to miss the exam for an entire day. The more he said, the more confused I became, but Jiang Yichen's expression didn't seem fake. As for the truth, no one can pin something I didn't do on me. 9. A group of us was taken to the nearby police station. My parents and the school leaders also rushed over after hearing the news, and the police station was instantly surrounded so tightly that not even water could get through. Inside the interrogation room, Lin Yan still insisted that I had switched her document bag. Lin Yan, you said Xiaoxi switched your document bag. Do you still remember what the bag containing your Real admission ticket looked like? The police officer asked. Lin Yan froze for a moment, then quickly said, it was black, with a little white bear pattern on it. I even bought a new bag for it. Then think carefully, where did you put the file bag the night before the college entrance exam? Lin Yan's eyes flickered. Just put it on the table in the hotel room. Who can prove it? I live alone, so there's no one else who can prove it. The officer nodded and looked at me again. Xiaoxi, what about you? The night before the college entrance exam, did you go to Lin Yan's room? No. I took out my phone and pulled up the hotel surveillance footage. This is the hotel corridor surveillance video, from 7 p.m., the night before the college entrance exam until the next morning. When we gathered, I stayed in my room the whole time and never left, let alone went to Lin Yan's room. The hotel key card records can also prove that I never swiped her door. I had long expected that Lin Yan wouldn't let this go, so the first time I went to check out, I copied the surveillance footage. The police verified the surveillance footage and key card records. It was indeed as I had said, had never been to Lin Yan's room, let alone swapped her admission ticket. Lin Yan's face grew increasingly pale, and her body began to tremble slightly. At this point, the police officer took out another evidence bag. Inside were several pieces of shredded paper. These were found in the hotel trash can. After being pieced together, they were confirmed to be Jiang Yichen's college entrance exam admission ticket. Lin Yan, do you recognize this? Lin Yan's eyes widened, and her whole body went limp, nearly sliding off the chair. Jiang Yichen also suddenly lifted his head and looked at those torn pieces of paper. His eyes were filled with shock and disbelief. This is my exam admission ticket. How could it have been cut into pieces? Yen, didn't you say it was stolen by Xiaoxi? How could it be torn to shreds? The police officer looked at Lin Yan, his tone stern. Lin Yan, according to the investigation, on the night before the college entrance exam, you entered the hotel's public trash area. The security footage shows you discarding similar pieces of paper. Also, we found a pair of scissors in the drawer of your room, with paper fibers still left on the blades. All the evidence pointed to Lin Yan, and she could no longer deny it. She broke down in an instant and burst into tears. It wasn't me. I didn't do it on purpose. I originally meant to cut up Xiaoxi's admission ticket. I also didn't expect to take the wrong admission ticket. I really didn't do it on purpose. Besides, wasn't I late too? Regarding the admission ticket issue, I can only say that you're just unlucky. It was destined by fate. Why are you being so aggressive? Everyone was stunned by those words. Lin Yan, I trusted you so much. How could you say something so shameless? Lin Yan, however, did not think there was anything wrong. You all said the same about Xiaoxi, didn't you? Why does it change when it's about yourselves? That's way too hypocritical of you." The scene instantly fell into a deathly silence. I walked up to Lin Yan and looked down at her. "Lin Yan, I really want to know. Why do you hate me so much?" 10. Lin Yan suddenly looked up, her tear-streaked face twisted and fierce. "Why do I hate you, Xiaoxi? Do you really not know? Ever since you transferred here for the first time, I've hated you. I transferred here in the second semester of my first year of high school, and I don't remember ever offending Lin Yan." Lin Yan shouted in a shrill voice. "Before you transferred into our class, I was the class darling. My grades were always in the top 3, I won a city level art award, I held the class monitor position firmly, and even Jiang Yichen, the most popular boy in school, would take the initiative to go over tough problems with me and pass me drinks at the sports meet. But the moment you showed up, everything changed." She stared at me fixedly, her chest heaving violently. "The moment you walked into the classroom, everyone's eyes stuck to you. The teacher called your name and praised your outstanding presence. The boys privately said you were the prettiest girl in the school. Even the girls crowded around you, asking you this and that, and left me out in the cold. Who do you think you are?" she screamed, tears streaming down her face mixed with fury. "Why do you get to easily steal everyone's attention? It took me half a year to finally establish myself in the class and win everyone's recognition, but you crushed my presence to pieces in just one day. After you came, Jiang Yichen had eyes only for you. When I found out you two were childhood sweethearts, do you know how jealous I was of you? Why is everything yours? Why are you from such a good family? Why can you do everything?" She panted heavily, looking both hateful and crazed. "I'm not willing to accept this. The moment you arrived, I became nothing but your foil. I watched everyone hold you in the palm of their hands, watched you naturally receive all the favoritism, and the jealousy in my heart made me want nothing more than to drag you down from that place and let you taste what it's like to be ignored and neglected, so I started framing you." Her eyes were ferocious as she finally spoke the secret she had kept buried in her heart. "You couldn't find your homework notebook because I hid it. Your running shoes were wet at the sports meet because I did it. You were wrongly accused of stealing a pen because I deliberately spread the rumor. Even in that mock exam in senior year, I changed your answer sheet on purpose so I could score 2 points higher than you. The college entrance exam was my last chance. I wanted to ruin your exam and make you fall completely to the bottom. I thought that as long as you failed badly, you'd never be so proud again, but no matter how much I calculated, I never expected you to have a backup plan." This outburst was like a thunderclap, shattering all the disguises. Everyone present was stunned. It turned out that all those accidents aimed at Xiaoxi over the years were actually, it all stemmed from Lin Yan's twisted sense of crisis caused by being ignored. From this insane jealousy, Jiang Yichen's face turned as pale as paper, and he staggered back a step. His eyes were full of shock and disbelief. He looked at Lin Yan, then turned to look at me, his lips trembling. I wanted to say something, but not a single word came out. 11. Only Lin Yan's stifled sobbing remained in the interrogation room. Jiang Yichen's voice was choked with emotion as he faced me. "Cece, I'm sorry, I was really wrong." At this moment, I looked at Jiang Yichen, my heart utterly calm. Countless images flashed through my mind. When I was little, Jiang Yichen would stuff the sweetest candies into my hands. He would stand up for me when I was bullied by other children. He would ride a bicycle with me on it through the alleyways filled with blooming plane tree flowers, saying, "Cece, I'll always protect you." We were together from elementary school through middle school. In my sophomore year of high school, I fell ill and went abroad. Later, when I returned to China and transferred to the same high school as Jiang Yichen, there was a Lin Yan by his side. At first, Jiang Yichen took very good care of me, and Lin Yan kept showing up around us. With her frail appearance, she won sympathy, and by deliberately sowing discord, she created misunderstandings. When I wore wet shoes to run in the sports meet, he called me delicate. When my scholarship application form went missing, he suspected that I had lost it myself. I said Lin Yan was kind of targeting me, but he said I was petty and antisocial. Gradually, I became the one who was isolated. No one was willing to talk to me, no matter what I did. It was wrong. The relationship between him and me didn't end when he snatched my exam admission ticket from me. It was him, time and time again, choosing to believe Lin Yan, and hurting me because of it. Looking at Jiang Yichen kneeling before me, I felt no hatred, only a deep exhaustion. "I won't accept your apology. There's no going back for us." 12. The results came out very quickly. Lin Yan intentionally damaged another person's exam admission ticket and fabricated facts over a long period to defame others. This constitutes a violation of the law and she must bear full liability for compensation. She shall compensate all affected classmates for their retake study fees and emotional distress damages. She was also expelled from school. The disciplinary action recorded in her file became a stain on her life that could never be erased. Her parents sold the family's only property to scrape together the compensation. The once poor top student became the subject of gossip among the neighbors and local residents. Good and evil alike can arise in a single thought. Jiang Yichen missed one day of the exam, so his college entrance examination results were naturally far from ideal. He could only choose to repeat the year. He tried to contact me again, but I had already blocked all of his contact methods, so his messages naturally sank without a trace. Those beautiful promises from childhood ultimately could not withstand his repeated gullibility and one-sided trust. Teacher Li was also dismissed by the school for serious management issues. Later, many classmates sent me messages to apologize. I didn't even reply. In their eyes, they had merely been deceived by others and had not intentionally hurt me. But to me, in an avalanche, no snowflake is innocent. I made it through by sheer will alone. After filling out my college preferences, I successfully received an admission letter from my dream university. The day I received the acceptance letter, the sunlight was just right. Standing on campus and watching the crowds passing by, I finally broke free from the gloom of my 3 years in high school. In college, I made friends who shared my ideals. I joined clubs I liked, kept my grades consistently at the top of my major, and even earned a scholarship. From time to time, I would hear from old classmates that Lin Yan was working odd jobs to pay off her debts. When I heard that Jiang Yichen had retaken the exam and gotten into an ordinary university, I felt nothing, only endless gratitude. Fortunately, the only one I've always believed in is myself. My admission ticket could only be gripped tightly in my hands. Just like that, my life. After hearing the first story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Next, there is another similar story. Let's continue to see. In my previous life, unaware of the impending apocalypse, I was deceived by my reincarnated cousin into giving away all my wealth and the spatial jade bracelet. After the apocalypse arrived, they sold me, who came to seek help, to the Dragon Slayer Society as a public prostitute, allowing me to be tortured to death. This time, I have also been reborn. I have been reborn, back to a month before the apocalypse. In my previous life, the apocalypse came suddenly, and I was unprepared. I barely survived to find my uncle's family. My uncle, who had always been kind to me, changed his attitude. They sold me to the Dragon Slayer Society as a public concubine, allowing me to be tortured to death. It seems that even heaven couldn't bear the suffering I endured in my past life, and now I have this life to seek revenge. I closed my eyes, took a deep breath, and tried to calm my emotions. Now was not the time to dwell on the past. I had to change everything and make them pay the price they deserved. I stood up, walked to the mirror, and looked at myself. My skin was fair and delicate, my eyebrows and eyes finely shaped, and my smile was as beautiful as a blooming flower, no less stunning than the actresses on TV. I sat down at my desk, took out paper and pen, and began to outline my apocalypse plan. The first year of the apocalypse would be marked by heavy rain, with torrential downpours lasting the entire year. The entire city would be severely flooded, and my current neighborhood would be submerged by the third month. The first step was to sell the house. The torrential rain flooded and damaged most of the city's supplies, leading to a shortage of materials. A large amount of survival supplies still needed to be purchased. The second year was followed by extreme cold, with temperatures plummeting to over 50 degrees below zero. Everything was frozen. The third year brought extreme heat. After the extreme cold, temperatures soared, and the ice melted at an incredible speed, quickly evaporating. The bodies of various humans and animals were exposed, and the over 50-degree heat accelerated the decomposition of these corpses, turning the entire city into a massive fermentation vat. In the later stages, numerous gangs of all sizes emerged, while the government remained in a corner, only accepting skilled individuals into the safety base. Everyone outside became abandoned. Outside the safety base, where laws no longer applied and resources were critically scarce, killing to seize supplies became a common occurrence. I needed to learn self-defense skills, and there was so much I needed to prepare. I tightened my grip on the jade bracelet in my hand, unconsciously exerting too much force, and inadvertently pinched my own hand, causing it to bleed. I gasped in pain, and when I looked down, the bracelet had absorbed the blood that had stained it. Before I could react, the bracelet suddenly emitted a strong white light and disappeared into my wrist. Startled, I quickly checked my wrist and saw a faint mark of the jade bracelet, then, my vision blurred, and I found myself in a different space. It was about the size of 2 football fields, with grass and a small river. My heart raced with excitement. Was this the spatial jade bracelet that only existed in novels? No wonder Schulingling stole my bracelet in my previous life. No wonder they never lacked food and clothing. But how did Schulingling know that my jade bracelet had a space inside? She had already tricked me out of my bracelet before the apocalypse. Could it be that she was reborn in her previous life? Yes, that would make sense. Their families suddenly came to borrow money from me. All to trick me out of my money to stockpile supplies. I didn't think much more about it and quickly completed a rough plan for the apocalypse. I first contacted a real estate agency to sell the house at 10% below market price as soon as possible. Because it was cheap, the house sold quickly, and I agreed with the seller to complete the transaction in 10 days. I started hoarding supplies frantically. Today is the 5th day since I was reborn, and I haven't gone anywhere, just waiting at home. In my previous life, my uncle's family said that my cousin was getting married, and the girl's family was very wealthy. To save face, they wanted to borrow 2 million as a betrothal gift. I took out all the money I had and even mortgaged my house to gather the amount, and without hesitation, I lent it to them. My cousin Shu Lingling said she was going to a party and wanted to borrow the bracelet left by my mother to wear and make a statement. After returning, she cried to me that the bracelet was lost at the party. I cherished that they were my last remaining relatives, so although I was very upset, I let it go and didn't pursue it further. Thud, thud, thud. The knocking at the door interrupted my thoughts. I took a deep breath, stood up, and opened the door. Qianqian, you're getting prettier and prettier as you grow up, my uncle said with a loving smile. I didn't respond, just casually waved my hand to signal them to sit down. Qianqian, we've come this time to discuss something with you. I nodded, signaling them to sit down. This scene, I had already experienced it once in my previous life. Here's the thing, Qianqian, your cousin is getting married, and the girl's family is asking for a house, a car, and a betrothal gift of 188 million yuan. Our family really can't afford it, and we're still short. Could you lend us 2 million? Don't worry, just 20 days, and we'll definitely pay you back by then. Your cousin's wife said that these are just formalities, and she'll bring the dog back after the wedding. Auntie's voice carried a hint of pleading. That's right, Qianqian, your sister-in-law comes from a very wealthy family. Once she marries in, her dowry will be double the bride price. We can definitely return it to you in 20 days. Cousin Shu Jiejun spoke with absolute certainty, watching their masterful acting. It's a pity the Oscars didn't give them a little gold statue, uncle. But 2 years ago when cousin wanted to buy a car, you borrowed 400,000 from me, and last year, when cousin bought a house, you borrowed 600,000. Neither has been repaid yet. It's easy to borrow and return, and it's not difficult to borrow again. Even brothers need to settle accounts clearly. Besides, I can't come up with 2 million yuan all at once. Qianqian, we are your only relatives now. Can you bear to see your cousin unable to get married? He is the only male descendant of the Shu family in this generation. If the money you have on hand is really not enough, you can mortgage your house. Don't worry, it will be returned to you in 20 days, and we will pay an extra 100,000 yuan in interest. Auntie started to use moral coercion. Of course, we can't let the Shu family die out. Auntie, how about this? Before, when I lent you money, you didn't give me an IOU. Why don't you write an IOU for the 1 million yuan you owe this time, and then I'll consider lending you 2 million yuan. I softened my expression and spoke to them very gently. What's the need for an IOU within a family? It's too formal. Uncle's tone was quite unpleasant. I didn't respond. The atmosphere suddenly turned quiet. It was Shuling who reacted first, whispering a few words into Uncle's ear. Uncle Shuzhengxing nodded reluctantly, his face not looking too good. Shuling stood up, walked over to me, and affectionately took my hand, saying, Qianqian, has someone been sowing discord between us? Those outsiders are always jealous of our family's harmony. You mustn't fall for it. Not writing an IOU when borrowing money was indeed our mistake. We always thought that since we're family, there was no need for such formalities. Since you're worried, Qianqian, let's write one now. Hearing Shuling agrees so readily, I was certain Shuling must have been reborn. In her previous life, she was reborn, so she knew that my jade bracelet contained a space. She knew the apocalypse was coming and that even if we wrote an IOU, they wouldn't have to repay it once the apocalypse arrived. Thinking of getting money from me to stockpile supplies now. What a well-calculated family. sucking blood relentlessly from me. Uncle Xu Jingxiong quickly wrote out an IOU and handed it to me, saying, "Qianqian, the IOU is ready, when can you transfer the 2 million to us?" I tucked away the IOU and sneered, "When did I ever say I would lend you the money? I only mentioned considering it, and now I've made up my mind, I won't lend it." Uncle's face turned black in an instant. They never expected that the usually obedient me would suddenly change my attitude. Cousin Xu Jiajun suddenly stood up. "Xu Qianqian, how dare you play us?" I snorted coldly. My uncle also turned grim. "If you don't help us like this, we won't acknowledge you as family anymore." I laughed. "Who cares if you acknowledge me or not? A bunch of leeches clinging to me, yet you really think you're something." Hearing my words, Cousin Xu Jiajun was furious. He abruptly stood up, waving his fist as he charged at me. I had foreseen the potential conflict and arranged for 2 temporary bodyguards in advance. Just as my cousin was about to throw a punch, they swiftly emerged from the study, standing in front of me, their eyes blazing with intensity as they glared at the 4 individuals before them. My aunt still tried to throw a tantrum and attack me, but both bodyguards intercepted her. Realizing that today's situation was no longer in their favor, my uncle pointed angrily at me, his teeth clenched as he said, "You, just wait, one day you'll come crawling back to us." Humph. After speaking, she dragged her aunt and her 2 children away, filled with reluctance and anger. The next day, Xu Lingling came to my house alone again. With teary eyes, she said, "Dear Qianqian, I know it's difficult for you to lend money, and I've already persuaded my parents. We're all family, and they're not angry anymore. I've come specially today to apologize to you." She also sincerely handed over several boxes of supplements. I took it and gestured for her to sit. Seeing that I didn't react strongly, she seemed to relax. After some casual conversation, "Qianqian, I'm attending a gathering tonight and want to wear your bracelet to make an impression. Could I borrow your jade bracelet?" "No, I won't lend it." "Don't worry, sister, I will definitely take good care of it." "No, I won't lend it. If there's nothing else, you can go back now. I need to rest." Standing up, walking towards the door, opening it, and gesturing for them to leave, Xu Lingling's expression changed slightly, but she quickly put on a smile. "Cousin, can I use your bathroom? I really can't hold it anymore." I didn't refuse. Glancing at the Hetian jade bracelet on the table, I sneered inwardly. The bait was already set. It was just a matter of whether the fish would take the hook. After seeing Xu Lingling off, I chuckled at the now empty table. The apocalypse hadn't even arrived yet, and she already dared to steal. Did she really think the law didn't exist? This jade bracelet was a grand gift I had specially prepared for Xu Lingling, worth 100,000 yuan, with a receipt and certificate to match. It was guaranteed to ensure she would serve more than 3 years in prison. 2 days later, I smiled as I held the evidence of my uncle's family embezzling assets from my family's company, provided by the auditor. At the age of 19, my parents died in a car accident, and my uncle's family went out of their way to help me handle their affairs. I was deeply grateful. At that time, I had just started university and had no time to manage my parents' company, so I entrusted everything to my uncle Xu Jingxiong's family. However, within just 4 years, they had secretly transferred 3 million yuan from the company's assets. Being a small company, it was almost hollowed out by them. I went to the police station to report the embezzlement of company assets by my uncle's family and the evidence of Xu Ling stealing the jade bracelet. With sufficient evidence, the police acted quickly, and within 3 days, my uncle's entire family was detained in a holding cell. The police also revealed during the investigation that the Shuzhengxing family had planned to hire someone to tamper with my car, attempting to create an accident that would appear accidental and result in my death. However, for unknown reasons, this plan was suddenly cancelled a week ago. Since they cancelled the plan before taking any actual action, this cannot be used to convict them. Hearing this news, I couldn't help but sneer. They've stolen almost everything from the company and now want to completely get rid of me to inherit my property. I should thank Shilingling for being reborn, otherwise, I might not have lived to see the end of the world. With only 22 days left until the end of the world, time is of the essence. Sending them to prison seems to have little significance now. My real goal is to force my uncle's family to come to a reconciliation with me, using this opportunity to drain all their wealth. In the reception room of the police station, seeing the visibly haggard Xu Jingxiong and his family, a sense of satisfaction flashed through my heart. The 4 of them sat across from me, their faces filled with unease and tension. Uncle Xu Jingxiong spoke first, his voice trembling slightly. "Qianqian, are you really going to do this to us? We are all family. Do you really want to tear apart our relationship over money?" I responded calmly, Uncle, it was you who put money above family first. Reconciliation is simple, the company's 3 million, the 1 million you borrowed, plus an additional 500,000 in compensation, totaling 5 million. Once the money is in the account, I'll sign the settlement agreement. Auntie shrieked upon hearing 5 million, for 5 million, why don't you just rob a bank? We won't give you a single cent, you're the only girl left in your family, and the Shu family's assets should naturally be ours. I let out a cold laugh. Auntie, the idea of favoring boys over girls is outdated. Whether my family's assets are mine or not is not up to you to decide. For 5 million, not a cent less. Cousin Shu Jiejun suddenly stood up, pointing at me and shouting angrily, do you believe we'll kill you if we go out? Dream on if you want money, Mr. Shu, please watch your language, the police officer sternly warned. At this moment, Shu Lingling was acting very strangely, her expression manic and her tone urgent. Shu Qianqian, you lied to me, that bracelet is fake, you deliberately put it there for me to steal, didn't you, police? She did it on purpose, she deliberately led me to steal her bracelet. I looked at her with amusement, thinking she still had some brains, but even if she guessed it all right, what could she do? Shu Lingling, did I grab your hand and force you to steal it? That bracelet was something I bought recently, the receipt and certificate are all there. If you think it's fake, you can have the police take it for an appraisal. Shu Lingling seemed not to have heard what I said and continued to speak to herself. But why would you know? You're also reborn, aren't you? You've lost your mind, officer, she's the one who's gone crazy, it has nothing to do with me. The police were also speechless with this family and nodded without saying anything. Uncle Shu Jingxiong slammed the table fiercely. This is how you treat your own uncle, I'm telling you. We just won't give you the money, let's see what you can do to us. I smiled indifferently. Uncle, I'm in no hurry, you can take your time in the detention center, the evidence is conclusive, the court will enforce the judgment. As soon as Aunt heard about prison, she panicked and tried to ease the tension. Qianqian, we really don't have that much money, can you reduce it a bit? No, it's 5 million, not a penny less. Shu Lingling seemed to have regained her composure and turned to Shu Jingxiong. Dad, agree to it, we can't waste our last moments in the detention center. Shu Jingxiong's eyes were filled with hatred and resentment. All right, for 5 million it is, we're all in detention right now, so we can't come up with the money, give us some time, 20 days, and we'll pay you in full, okay? Even now, this family still wants to trick me. I let out a cold laugh. Uncle, do you think I'm a fool? The settlement agreement will be signed when the money is in the account. Detention is no place to be, if their whole family of 4 stays there until the world falls into chaos. It will be too late for anything when they get out. I did leave them some money to buy supplies. After all, even a cornered rabbit will bite. They need to have some hope when they think they're ready, only to end up with nothing again. That's true despair. Sure enough, 7 days later, the 5 million arrived, and I had my lawyer sign the settlement agreement. There's too much to prepare for the apocalypse. I don't have time to waste on them every day. In the luxurious suite of the hotel, I held a cup of iced Americano, frowning in deep thought. Even if I have space to survive, I can't guarantee that I won't be targeted by someone with ill intentions. It's too dangerous to be a lone wolf in the apocalypse. In my previous life, and city had countless factions, but the most powerful were the Dragon Slayer gang and the Nighthawk gang. These two gangs were the largest criminal organizations in city decades ago. In recent years, with the government cracking down hard and combating organized crime, both have started to go legit, moving from the open to the underground. Shu Lingling was a high-ranking member of the Dragon Slayer Society in her previous life, leaving me with only one choice, the Nighthawk Society. The Nighthawk Society had a good reputation after the apocalypse, never robbing ordinary people of their supplies. During the time I was sold to the Dragon Slayer Society, I often heard news of the Nighthawk Society supplies mysteriously disappearing, which I assume was Shu Lingling's doing. Later, internal issues arose within the Nighthawk Society, and after the leader, Wu Guangbai, was injured, he disappeared without a trace. The Nighthawk Society, left without a leader, experienced internal turmoil and was eventually absorbed by the Dragon Slayer Society. The Hua family's ancestral home is located on Zisong Mountain in An City, with the entire area from the halfway point up to the summit belonging to the Hua family. It was only after the apocalypse that I learned this place had become the stronghold of the Nighthawk Society. At the moment, I'm somewhat helplessly squatting by the roadside outside the Hua family's ancestral home, without an appointment. There's no way I can enter the Hua residence, and the security guards aren't willing to relay my message. After waiting for a long time, the grand courtyard gates opened, and Hua Guangbai emerged, seated in a luxurious business vehicle. I don't know where I found the courage, but I ran into the middle of the road and spread my arms to stop a car. The driver slammed on the brakes, and the car stopped right in front of me. He angrily opened the door and unleashed a torrent of curses at me. Are you out of your mind? You're young, but you're not learning anything good. You're copying car-stopping scenes from TV dramas, valuing money over your life. I didn't have time to respond to the driver's angry outburst. I shouted into the car, Mr. Hua, I have something important to tell you. Please give me 1 minute. After 1 minute, if you're not interested in what I have to say, I'll leave immediately. Hua Guangbai glanced at her. Normally, in such situations, he would never listen, but today, he had a premonition. He needed to hear what this young lady had to say. Hua Guangbai instructed the security guards outside, bring her over. Through the slightly open window, Hua Guangbai raised his chin, signaling me to continue speaking. Mr. Hua, what I have to say is extremely important and requires an absolutely secure environment. All I can say now is that I know there is a room in your house filled with an entire arsenal of weapons. Hua Guangbai's eyes instantly sharpened. He rolled down the car window and grabbed my neck with force, saying harshly, "You're looking for death." I was startled by this sudden attack, and the feeling of suffocation in my throat filled me with panic. Instinctively, I tried to pry his hand away, but the disparity in strength made my efforts futile. Just as I thought I was going to die, the pressure on my neck suddenly eased. I slumped to the ground, coughing violently, and it took me a long time to catch my breath. A sudden surge of inexplicable grievance welled up inside me. The painful memories of my past life, combined with the despair I felt moments before almost dying, overwhelmed me, and I burst into loud sobs. Are you crazy or something? I hadn't even finished talking, and you just started choking me. Do you have some kind of rage disorder? The things I'm telling you are all to save you. I must be out of my mind to even come looking for you. After shouting, I stood up and turned to leave. Stop, take her to the study. In the study, after calming down, I recounted everything about the apocalypse of my previous life and all matters related to Hua Guangbai. Hua Guangbai remained silent for a long time after listening. Miss Xu, do you have evidence to prove your claim about the apocalypse? I don't, but Mr. Hua, you'll be able to see it in 10 days. Given Mr. Hua's wealth, spending a little money to prepare some supplies is nothing. Even if the apocalypse doesn't come, disposing of those supplies later would incur minimal loss for you. Hua Guangbai nodded in agreement. Then, Miss Xu, what do you want from me? I hope that after the apocalypse, Mr. Hua can offer me protection. Is there anything else you need? I shook my head. I had already prepared all the supplies I needed, enough for a lifetime. The space has a preservation function, so the items won't spoil. Why did you choose me? Because during the extreme cold of my previous life, I almost froze to death on the side of the road. It was you who passed by and threw me a military coat, saving my life. Even to repay this life-saving favor, I cannot let you repeat the mistakes of your past life. Time flies quickly, and it's already 2 days before the end of the world. My newly purchased house is in Nathan Manor, not far from the Hua family's ancestral home, and this place will also be the Nighthawk Society after the apocalypse. I sit on the sofa, listening to Shaoli report the latest situation of my uncle's family. Shaoli is a private detective I hired. Ever since my uncle's family was released from detention, he has been keeping an eye on them. Shaoli said that their family has been looking for me all along, especially Shulingling, who is almost frantic, asking everyone who knows me about my whereabouts. I naturally know that Shulingling is still coveting my spatial bracelet, but this lifetime she is destined to never possess it. Shaoli said that the Xu Jingxiong family rented a house in Jianglin Manor. Since their release, they have been moving things into the house, and it's probably almost full by now. Is the house full of supplies? It seems they still have quite a bit of money left, so I'll take it with a smile. After covering myself completely, I easily opened the door to the house rented by Xu Jingxiong with an expensive universal key I had purchased. Shaoli wasn't exaggerating at all. The house was packed full, with boxes everywhere, leaving no space to step. After carefully checking that there were no surveillance cameras inside, I started collecting everything, not even sparing the furniture. 10 minutes later, looking at the empty house, I smiled in satisfaction, clapped my hands, and left, to enjoy the wonderful reactions of this family of 4 when they find the supplies gone. I secretly installed several hidden cameras in concealed spots. After returning home, I turned on the computer, busied myself, and waited. Not until late at night did the sound of the door opening finally ring out. When the Shu Jingxiong family stepped into their home, they were completely stunned by the sight before them. The room that was once filled with supplies was now completely empty. Not even a piece of furniture remained. Auntie first let out a piercing scream, her fingers trembling as she pointed around. What is going on? Our supplies, all our reserves, are gone. Shu Jiejun's face turned ashen in an instant. He rushed to the corner where the supplies were originally stacked, frantically searching, but only felt the cold walls. He turned around and roared, "This is impossible. Who did this? How did all our supplies just vanish into thin air?" Shu Lingling's face turned pale instantly, as if she had realized something. Her voice trembling, she said, It was Shu Qianqian. She activated her spatial ability. She must have been here and taken all our supplies." Uncle Shu Jingxiong's anger erupted like a volcano. He bellowed, "That little wretch, how dare she treat us like this? I'll make her regret ever being born." Auntie's emotions completely spiraled out of control. She screamed, her voice piercing and shrill, "We're finished. Without supplies, how are we supposed to survive? I told you back then to just kill all three of them outright, but no, you had to keep the youngest one alive, saying you were afraid the police would suspect something, and that we could deal with her later. Look at us now, she's grown strong, and now she's retaliating against us. What a heartless wretch." The chopsticks in my hand clattered to the ground. So my parents' deaths weren't an accident. A tidal wave of hatred engulfed me. I took out the large cleaver from my space, ready to go and kill them. Shu Lingling's voice continued to come from the surveillance, with a hint of smugness and calmness. "Dad, Mom, don't worry, I've already told Li Dahong about the apocalypse. When it really comes, Li Dahong will protect us, and then crushing Shu Qianqian will be as easy as crushing an ant." These words were like a bucket of cold water suddenly poured over my head, making my heart skip a beat. I miscalculated. If I could seek protection from Hu Guangbai, then the reincarnated Shu Lingling could also seek protection from someone else. And once Li Dahong confirms the end of the world, Shu Lingling's status in the Dragon Slayer Society will rise. And she will definitely not let me off. It will become even more difficult for me to seek revenge against them. Moreover, if the Dragon Slayer Society finds out I have a space, they will surely come to seize it. Shu Lingling is afraid that Li Dahong will try to win me over and abandon her, so she definitely won't dare to tell Li Dahong about my space for now, but there's no guarantee she won't go crazy one day and spill the beans. No, I need to go find Hu Guangbai. I can't keep the space a secret from him anymore. I must increase my standing with Hu Guangbai, or I won't be able to protect myself. In Hu Guangbai's study. What? Space? Hu Guangbai stood up from the sofa in shock, watching the coffee table that I had put into and taken out of the space. Realizing his loss of composure, he sat down again and asked calmly, "You didn't want to tell me before, so why are you telling me now? Besides me, there is another reincarnator who knows I have a space, and she has already aligned herself with Boss Li Dahong of the Dragon Slayer Society. No wonder Li Dahong's side has also been collecting supplies recently. I thought the news had leaked from my end, but it turns out to be this. Mr. Hua, are you interested in playing a big game? Go ahead and tell me." We join forces, and with my spatial abilities, we steal Li Dahong's hidden assets. You can have all the supplies, but I hope you can help me capture 4 people, and if possible, eliminate the Dragon Slayer Society. "Which 4 people?" "My uncle's family of 4, I can capture them, but you have to tell me why. In my previous life, they sold me to the Dragon Syndicate, where I endured untold suffering until death. This time, I will repay every ounce of pain I experienced 100-fold. I will make them taste the agony of living worse than death, forcing them to struggle in despair, unable to escape the flames of my vengeance." These painful memories surged like a tide, the cause of my parents' death, and the emotions I had suppressed since my rebirth suddenly erupted. I gasped involuntarily, the fires of hatred nearly consuming me. Hu Guangbai was startled by my sudden and intense reaction. He stood up, gently patting my back, comforting me with a soft and warm voice. "Those are all past life events, don't be afraid, this life is already different." After I calmed down, Hu Guangbai said, "I've agreed to your request. You'll get a 30% share of the Dragon Slayer Society supplies. Help me move the supplies tonight, and once I find out where Li Dahong's stash is, you'll assist me." I nodded in agreement. 7. As night fell, a light rain drizzled from the sky, casting the city in an eerie shadow. "Are you ready?" Hu Guangbai asked softly. I nodded. The headquarters of the Dragon Slayer Society is located on Qingqing Mountain in An City, with the Hua family's Zisong Mountain to the north. each occupying a high ground in an city. The Dragon Slayer Society supplies are stored within the headquarters on Qingqing Mountain. Only Hu Guangbai and I entered the Dragon Slayer Society this time. Others were waiting outside to provide support. We wore black night vision suits, our faces painted with camouflage, almost blending seamlessly with the night. Hu Guangbai led me silently past the guards, avoiding surveillance, every step taken with utmost caution. However, just as we approached the back door of the warehouse, Hu Guangbai suddenly called for a halt, signaling me to enter the space quietly, while he leapt onto a large tree. A few seconds later, a patrolling guard walked by. After he left, Wu Guangbai took out a key and unlocked the back door, motioning for me to hurry in. I gave him a thumbs up. Wu Guangbai was indeed impressive, managing to get the key to the warehouse in just one day. We entered the warehouse quietly, where it was filled with all kinds of supplies, from food to weapons. Everything was available. The Dragon Slayer Society had obviously prepared well. I took a deep breath, focused my mind, and quickly stored the supplies into my space. One by one, the items disappeared from the warehouse and appeared in my space. Just as the last batch of supplies was about to be stored in the space, the alarm in the warehouse suddenly went off, piercing the silence of the night sky with its shrill sound. My heart sank abruptly as the alarm sounded. Blinding lights instantly lit up the exterior of the Dragon Slayer Society's warehouse. Wu Guangbai, however, remained unusually calm. He quickly pulled out his phone from his pocket, tapping rapidly on the screen to send the action message. There will be people outside to assist us. We need to hurry. Wu Guangbai pulled me quickly towards the back door of the warehouse, rushing out before the Dragon Slayer Society could react. At that moment, a sudden commotion erupted outside. Our reinforcements had started moving, and countless smoke grenades were thrown into the warehouse. The smoke filled the air, and a black SUV emerged from the haze. Its headlights pierced through the night like two swords. The door opened, revealing Hu Guangbai's driver. "Get in the car quickly," he shouted. We didn't hesitate and immediately jumped into the car. The driver stomped on the gas pedal, and the SUV roared like a wild beast, carrying us out of the Dragon Slayer Society's encirclement. Meanwhile, inside the Dragon Slayer Society's warehouse, the guards finally rushed in amidst the chaos, only to find an empty warehouse. Supplies, weapons, food, all had vanished without a trace, leaving only empty ground behind. "How is that possible?" one of the guards exclaimed. Not long after, Li Dahong stood in the center of the warehouse, his face ashen, his eyes swept over the empty ground, and the fury and shock in his heart almost made it impossible for him to breathe. "Damn it, Wu Guangbai," he roared, "I will be your mortal enemy." On the way back, the rain grew heavier, and the apocalypse had finally arrived. While Hu Guangbai and I stole the Dragon Slayer Society supplies, another team set out and captured my uncle's family. When my parents' car lost control and collided with an oncoming truck, they died on the spot. This time, I returned the favor in kind, watching as my uncle and aunt were smashed to pieces like rotten mud, a strange sense of pleasure rising within me. As for Shulingaling and Shujiajin, I naturally wouldn't let them die so easily. At 1:00 a.m. on June 13, 2024, torrential rain poured from the sky, and the Meteorological Bureau issued a red alert for heavy rain, urging the public to stay indoors and avoid going out. At first, people didn't think much of it. Office workers were happy because the heavy rain allowed them to work from home, and students were happy because the rain caused schools to close. Only the shops on the street were worried about the floodwaters damaging their goods. But gradually, no one could be happy anymore. The heavy rain never stopped. Floors 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, in some low-lying areas, entire buildings were submerged. Initially, scenes of firefighters, armed police, and soldiers rushing to rescue and provide relief could be seen every day, and the government was doing its best to distribute aid supplies. People prayed every day for the disaster to end, but after 1 month, 2 months, 5 months, the rain still didn't stop. The government no longer distributed supplies for free, and firefighters, armed police, and soldiers had all disappeared. The entire city was eerily quiet. After the government took selected civilians into the mountains, those left in the city were abandoned. People began to panic, and those without supplies started to find ways to go out and search for them. But without boats and with heavy rain pouring down, the waters were full of treacherous currents. Few who ventured out managed to return alive with supplies. Residential buildings became isolated boats. Inside, chaos gradually ensued. Social order began to collapse, and human morality started to deteriorate. Zisong Mountain, however, seemed like a utopia. after the government left, Wu Guangbai took over the management of the area. Here, supplies were abundant, but the Nighthawk Society wasn't so benevolent as to distribute them for free. Work relief programs were in place. Only those who worked received food. Those who demanded free distribution were quickly brought to order after a few corrections. On the other hand, the Dragon Slayer Society, due to the theft of supplies before the apocalypse and insufficient resources afterward, was plagued by internal strife. Wu Guangbai made a few subtle moves, and it was quickly absorbed by other factions. Li Dahong was also killed by his own subordinates. I always stayed by Wu Guangbai's side. He was a very charismatic person. Although he appeared cold on the outside, he was generous and loyal to his subordinates, who held him in high esteem. Wu Guangbai would personally teach me hand-to-hand combat and shooting every day. He was a great teacher, and I improved every day. Time flew by quickly, and before I knew it, the third year of the apocalypse had passed. Xu Lingling had already been tortured to death by the second year of the apocalypse. Back then I had spared her life. The Nighthawk Society's resources naturally wouldn't support them. Xu Jiejun couldn't stand going hungry. I sold Xu Lingling to a small, less scrupulous organization, and in my previous life, all that I had endured, she experienced it all as well. The extremely high temperatures began to return, and government departments, which had been hiding in the mountains, started to gradually come back. Wu Guangbai led the Nighthawk Society to retreat into the background. Social order was gradually restored, and large-scale construction projects were underway everywhere, creating a scene of prosperity. Bright fireworks lit up the sky. Wu Guangbai took out a ring, knelt down on one knee, and asked, "Qianqian, will you marry me?" I laughed, recalling the initial coldness of Wu Guangbai when they first met, and how he gradually became gentle and caring during their time together. A warm feeling passed through her heart. I extended my hand and softly replied, "I do." After hearing the two stories above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.